Greetings, I am the Soviet Warlord, and today I am bringing you a long-rumoured but finally materialised episode of Stakhanov's builds. Did you miss me? Because I'm here to stay. Today I'll be covering the Attica crossbow. The Attica is a fully automatic Tenno construction crossbow wielded at Mastery Rank 7. It can be obtained either by purchasing outright for 125 platinum, or the blueprint can be obtained from the Tenno Research Laboratory in your clan dojo after the prerequisites are fulfilled. The Attica itself has plenty of good qualities, and its statistics are as follows. Base damage is extremely healthy, 4 impact damage, 60 puncture, and 16 slash. It also boasts a very strong accuracy rating of 40, considerably high for an automatic weapon. Fire rate is unfortunately not the weapon's strong suit, at just 3.67 rounds per second. The magazine is also on the small side, at just 20 bolts before needing to resupply, and reload times on this weapon are just short of lethargic, at 2.8 seconds to complete. Where the weapon shines, however, is in critical potential, with a base chance of 25% and a devastating 3 times multiplier as standard. There's a lot you can do with this weapon. Status chance is also fairly decent at 10% base. So onto the performance then. Given the heavy puncture composition of the Attica, the weapon excels at eliminating heavily armoured targets such as any Grineer units as well as the heavier infested ancients. The hard-hitting power of each bolt will ensure anything unlucky enough to be in the way suffers a very quick death indeed, as well as a permanent place on the wall of their ship in most instances. However, when faced with shielded targets such as Corpus mowers or even Corpus crewmen, the Attica painfully suffers in terms of damage, as the almost non-existent impact damage of your projectiles will be practically shrugged off by those with even a simple shield. Without largely overkill modifications, taking the Attica against Corpus units is ill-advised. You would be far better off electing a different weapon for this purpose. Also bear in mind that the Attica's projectiles do have travel time, so firing at distant units will require a little bit of practice and in some cases some patience as well. And at just 90 meters per second travel time, it is on the slow side. Another noteworthy feature of this weapon is the innate soft target punch through boasted by this crossbow. What that means is that you'll not be able to fire through hard targets such as covers, doors, crates or pillars, but what it will allow you to do is shoot bolts through enemies to kill or injure those unlucky enough to be behind them. Ammo economy is almost a non-issue, with 540 bolts at your disposal and the weapon pulling from the rifle pool. Running out of ammunition entirely will be a very difficult affair, unless you have a natural talent for missing enemies and are partial to wasting ammunition. Despite having many qualities enjoyed by an assault rifle, the Attica is still classified as a bow, and is therefore capable of the Thunderbolt modification. This can result in some rather hilarious shock and awe tactics when employed in certain ways, but is not a staple for this build. Today's build is going to work on truly capitalising on the weapon's high critical potential, and gearing it around making it as damaging as anything to anything with the bravado to wear armour in your presence. So first of all, we opt to elect Serration and Split Chamber. These are standard mods on almost every primary weapon currently available in the game, effectively quadrupling the base damage of the weapon, give or take for a minor bit of luck on the side of Split Chamber. There are almost no viable reasons to leave these off a build. The Attica's high accuracy rating makes it a very ill fit for heavy caliber, so we'll be moving on to another strategy for this. Our third selection, however, should be a very obvious one. Point Strike allows us to bring the Attica up to the much more consistent 62.5% critical chance, meaning just 3 in 8 bolts will not result in a critical on your opponent. This will dramatically bring up your first shot lethality and maximise your potential of sticking multiple enemies with a single shot. After all, with such a small magazine, making the most of every round should be an utmost priority. To work in tandem with the increased critical chances, we choose Vital Sense as the perfect complement. With these two mods together, a critical hit will yield a highly damaging 6.6 times multiplier instead of the standard 3 times. So even if the build has slightly lower damage, this will be more than made up for just how effective the multiplicative nature of criticals are. And coupled with achieving this with more than half of your shots, dispatching even high-level foes becomes much simpler and increases your longevity in a fight. Next, we elect an element to enhance our lethality against those Grineer armoured targets. Infected Clip makes the first appearance, and this is the first of two for a combined elemental effect to give us an edge. Sixth, we'll combine this with cryo rounds, or if you are lucky enough to be on the rotation with Barrow Kitier on his fortnightly appearances, primed cryo rounds. Coupled with Infected Clip, this gives us a potent viral mix, granting a dramatic increase to our lethality against cloned flesh. The very health type granted to Grineer ground units, and despite a low status proc chance here, the added benefit of the occasional virus proc against heavy units will cut a substantial chunk of their maximum health, ensuring that they're softened up for the onslaught of bolts heading their way. Coupled with the puncturing ability of your bolts, these two advantages will ensure you have success against even the strongest of enemies. Our seventh selection will be Hammer Shot. Hammer Shot grants us a double-edged bonus, amps up your critical damage further to a staggering 8.4 times, as well as boosting your status chance to 18%, almost doubling the base, give or take a few percentage. An increase in critical damage of this nature will more than outweigh the benefits of further elemental boosts, or by addressing any of the weapon's shortcomings. With travel time a present threat to your lethality, ensuring your target is eliminated swiftly will help much more than improving the weapon's downsides. As is often said, a strong offense is a good defense as well. And for our final selection, we have a choice of mods. Should you be confident in your accuracy and playstyle, Hellfire makes a fantastic complement to our virus build, granting even further damage and bonuses against Grineer units, as well as inciting mass panic as they're burnt to ashes where they stand. However, if you feel you are more strongly hindered by the weapon's downsides, Fast Hands, or better yet, Primed Fast Hands, will serve you much better, bringing down that painful reload time to just under 2 seconds at maximum rank. And for an Exilus modification, should you have an adapter for it, Terminal Velocity is the obvious choice. Bringing your bolts to a much healthier 144 meters per second travel time instead of the base 90 will make aiming a much less arduous affair and allow you to be far more reactive to your opponents, rather than considering drop and travel time when shooting at distant opponents. The ability to move between enemies in rapid succession will spell victory on more than one occasion. So that's our build. One geared towards absolute destruction of armour through an accurate and well-refined point. A point which spreads a toxic sting, as well as scorching any foes with the confidence to cross your path. Despite the slower rate of fire and the lack of hard target punch-through, neither Shred or Metal Auger will provide as much of a benefit as the mod selected today. Metal Auger being a hugely costly modification for a marginal benefit, and Shred providing a modest fire rate boost and a modest punch-through. However, with the ability to kill a target in just one shot, increasing the fire rate would only aid to use ammunition quicker, and being careful with your shots makes for a boon over these benefits, especially against groups of enemies. The Attica makes a very good pairing with a hard-hitting frame such as Rhino, especially when coupled with a raw or iron skin build, or a stealth frame such as Ash or Loki, as the Attica is a silent weapon. Frames such as Mesa can also benefit from the high damage in abilities such as Ballistic Battery. Ideal teammates for raising killing potential lie in Rhino for raw, Octavia for an amp build, or Banshee for a sonar and resonance build. All of these have the ability to directly buff your damage output to a massive degree. Try it out and find a combination which works. For a companion, Vakavat makes a very good pairing to boost your critical hit ratios. It must be noted that in order to maximise the true potential of the Attica with the build as outlined, you will require 6 Former, as well as an Orokin Catalyst. However, in my opinion, this is very well worth the investment. So, whether you're surrounded by Grineer Marines, or whether you just want to make a point, pick up the Attica. Keep your aim true, your kill count high, and no matter whether you're doing business from 1,000 meters away or getting up close and personal, you'll leave just about everything dead in your wake and an objective completed. Thank you for tuning in to Stakhanov's builds today. On our next episode, I will be covering the Bronco. As always, please leave a like and to subscribe if you wish to see more WarFrame builds coming out from myself. And make sure to activate the notification bell. But for now, I'll see you next time.